So let's see whether we are live here or not. Let me check. Yeah, maybe we are live over here, right? Uh, yeah, we are live, right? So hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have came up with a new Flutter application that we will be creating in our Flutter full stack series. And that application, maybe everybody you might have used in your daily life to check out the, temperatures using during, before going outside, and, usually when you wakes up and all. It looks something like this, right? In each of the applications, it's available just like this, right? Like you can see it here. So I am also going to create a similar application that will be called as a weather app, right? It will be looking something like this, right? It currently shows the temperature over here. And if I'll change the location, like suppose I want to check on London, right? So currently the London's temperature is about 9 degrees Celsius. So it's showing the London's temperature and the time stamps and durations and all sorts of things. Like it's going to be a kind of basic project when in which we are just going to focus on the UI most of the part, and the data that we are seeing here will be called out from the backend, right? So we don't really need to do a lot over here, right? So this is pretty much it. Before starting this, I would really suggest all of you to just go to my GitHub and download, or I'll say the clone this project that has been already uploaded from my GitHub, so that you can get, the pictures and all sorts of images that we are going to use in the project, and you can continue on with me, right? So without wasting time, let's quickly begin. Yeah. So firstly, what I have to do here is I have to open a Visual Studio Code. So for that, I'm going to open a new window right here, and I'm going to open a folder, right? So if you remember, we were dealing with there's a full stack, right? Flutter full stack. So in this folder, I'm going to create a new file over here, right? So for that, I'll just write it down in the terminal, like Flutter create weather app. Okay, so I'm going to write a type Flutter create weather app, and it's going to create a weather application for me. And as you can see, it's doing its work, right? So basic application is done. Now it has provided us with this sort of, basic UI in which if I'll just click it on run over here, I'll write, I'll do what? I'll write run over here, start debugging, and then it's going to, run the program for me, right? And let's do one thing. Let's quickly wait until it's going to, turn out and give us the some output from the project, right? Till then, I'll discuss what all things we have to keep sure in the mind. Okay, so first that we need is we are going to use an API of a website called Weather API. Okay, so we are going to use the API like Weather API. Okay, so I'm going to write weather API, and inside this, I am going to get this uh, weather API, something like the see free weather API over here. Yeah, this one. We can use this API, and inside this, we will be getting our own API that we are going to use in the project. Okay, and yeah, I am live. People are watching. Okay, so this is the API that we are going to use it over here. Right, see, our Flutter basic application that we have created is also working. You can see it like, yeah, this is the button that it's pressing continuously, and this is the basic code that we have got over here, right? Now let's just do one thing. I really does not need this over here, so I'll minimize it as of now. And yeah, my video is also working, so let's just do one thing. Let's quickly start with the main.dart file. We have to, do the changes into the main.dart file. But for that, let's quickly change the folder, and I'm like open folder, and I'm going to open this particular folder over here. Okay. Now, inside this library, I have to write some code. So for that, what I'm going to use over here is I'm going to write import, like the basic code, Flutter material.dart. This is the basic material.dart that we are going to need. Then what I'm going to write void main, and inside the main, we are going to use run app, right? So run app will run on, right? We are going to even add a const over here. Now we have to create a stateless widget. So I'm going to write stateless widget, and inside the stateless widget, I'm going to write my app like this. Okay, right. So now you can see it's working. No error, nothing we are getting over here. Let's just do one thing. Start debugging. I'll just quickly turn on the debug mode over here so that you can see the real changes happening in the app as we work on it, right? Um, See, yeah, as of now, we are just getting a placeholder because we have added a placeholder over here, and we have not created any sort of other, widgets or anything in the app. But now let's just do one thing. Let's create a new file. Let's return something different. So I'll write const material app. So inside the material app, I'm going to write title. And as of now, I'm going to write like Flutter demo as a title, and then I'm going to write home page, like home. So basically, it's going to redirect into some home thing. Okay. Then here inside this, I'm going to write home page, like this, right? And what I'm going to write debug check show banner mode should be false. What this will do, this will ignore that debug thing that we were getting over here, right? So that will be ignored in this particular uh, option. Now, inside this library, what I'm going to write is I'm going to create a folder called UI. So inside this UI, I'm going to create a new file. And what I'm going to write is I'm going to write homepage.dart. So inside this, I'm going to write homepage.dart. Now, let's do one thing. Let's write the code for the homepage.dart, right? But majority of the code will be stored in this homepage, right? Because we are not creating any sort of redirecting page or anything like that. If you need, you can do what you can, take out the authentication that was there in the previous page, and then you can add it over here, then it will look the same, right? Or else you can do what you can create a cool looking weather application, and you can write like weather app get started, and then you can move on further, right? If you want, I can do that as well. Like us, let's do one thing. Let's create a screen that will be pop up when we will be working. Like as soon as the app opens out, a screen will be popping up, and then the home page will be displayed. But as of now, let's just focus on the home page. And for that, we even need to create a file called constant. So for that, I'm going to write a widget over here. New folder. Actually, I need inside this, I need a new folder, and I'm going to write widget. Okay. So inside this widget, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to name it as constants.dart, right? Now, what is the file going to contain? So in this file, we are going to contain the constant variables like color that we will be, that we have to use a lot of time, but we don't really need to copy paste again and again or to use again and again, right? Shopping app with Firebase API. Okay, sure. That will be also coming up in the next part of the series. The video in which Flutter shopping app will be created using a Firebase and an API, right? That will be also coming up in the later part of the series. Okay, so hang on, subscribe to the channel. And now inside this constant, what we really need to do here is we need to import a package, obviously. So I'll write import Flutter material dot dart. Okay, so this is the basic material dot dart that we needed. Now I'm going to create a class called constants, and inside the constant, we are going to write final final primary color, like primary color equals to color dot from argb. Then inside there is argb, I'm going to write the color that I really want to use. So 255, 134, 107, and 252. This is the color, like purplish kind of. And after this, what I'm going to write is I'm going to write many more things like primary, secondary, final, secondary color, which like secondary color will be something like grayish. So equals to color from, like I can write like this, const color, and inside the color I'm going to write the code like 0xff, that particular hash code, al c6fd, that is also a code. I think so, it's one now. Yeah, so this is the secondary color that we are going to use, and the final tertiary color that we are going to use is tertiary color equals to something different. Like, so in the tertiary color, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use 0xff205 CS CF1. Okay, so this is the tertiary color, and the plain black color you need. You guys also know final black, or you can just write it like black color like this. This is the basic color. Then inside this we need gray color also. So final gray color. Yeah, so this is the gray, like, but it will be uh D9 D9 ADB, like this. Okay, D9 D. Yeah, so this is the gray color that we are going to create, right? So now the colors has been done. Now we even need to create some of the linear gradients that you can see in the app that has been gone somewhere. Let's close this one. Yeah. So you can see the linear gradient that has been created over here, right? This linear gradient should be there. So this is a shader. There is one shading also, like you can see, and the main screen also, and some other colors as well, right? Currently, it's the time is about 18, so it's highlighted the 18. You can see it here, and the rest is not highlighted over here. So yeah, this is that we have to create. So for that, we even need to create some, over here gradients. So I'll write final, and inside the final, I'm going to like linear gradient, and I would not recommend it like this. So linear gradient blue. So inside this linear gradient blue, I'm going to write const linear gradient, and inside the linear gradient, what I'm going to write colors. Now inside the colors, I'm going to store it as colors then color inside the bracket. Now, inside this, we are going to store multiple colors. So for multiple colors, I'm going to write and 0xff abcff2. This is some light color, right? Yeah. And similarly, there is one more color that we are going to use. So that is color, and it will be like 0xff9ac6f3. That, like, I have already written the colors with myself. That's the reason why I'm able to do this. Otherwise, I would have been unable to do that. But yeah, you can adjust the color according to your personal choice. Okay, so linear gradient will get a semicolon over here. And also now after this, what I really need to add it over here is I'm going to add dot begin. So I really need to add a begin and ending over here. Right, okay. So for that, let's do one thing. I'll put it up. So begin with align dot top right, align dot top right, and end with bottom left, or like top left. Okay, so this is where it's going to begin and end. And what is there is one more thing that we can add, like that is stops. Okay, so where exactly it should stop, so it should be like this. It's showing the 10% of the width, so there are 10 lines. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. 10 different shades will be there available in the particular code. Okay, so there is one more linear gradient that we have to create over here. So it will be like final linear gradient, and purple equals to constant. I'm going to write linear gradient. Now inside the linear gradient, there is a lot of things that we have to add it over here. So now inside this linear gradient, we have to add on the colors. Like what exactly are the colors that we need? So for colors, I'm going to again create like this. So color, this is the random suggestion that I won't prefer to use. So 0xff. Then I'm going to write 5108 7 and E. Okay, so this is a purplish shade, I think so. C will be capital, so only we can see the colors. Yeah. So this is the dark shade of purple, and color. Now inside this, I'm going to write 0xff and 6c 0b9, right? Yeah. So this is the dark shade, and this is the kind of light shade, I'll say, but it's not that light eventually. So let's just create a little more light. Yeah. So now the shade has been changed, and there is one more thing that we have to add it over here. So begin should be, it should begin with alignment dot actually al, like alignment dot bottom right, and it should end at alignment dot top left, right? And there is one more thing that we have to add, that is that stops, so that we should get some shades out over here. So I'll write stops, and that same old, 0, 0.1, 0, 1.0. So 10% of the width will be getting, right? So this is the constants that we are going to use throughout the whole, Flutter project that we are creating this one. So yeah, This is the constant way values. Now let's just jump into the main page. So home page, inside the home page, I'll write import package flutter material dot dot. Right, so yeah, material dot dot. Then inside this, we just really need a basic layout right now. So for that, I'm going to create a stateful widget. Stateful, like this is the shortcuts that usually I use, but it's not, recommended at all because for a student who's learning, they usually don't remembers the code. Yeah, see. Now it's done and it's not showing any sort of error over here. Yeah, even I'll do what, I'll create a home page in with which has some button kind, and we will be implementing that in the app so that it should look, pretty good over here. Yeah. So now this is done. Then what we have to add it over here is we have to check on the pubspec.yml file in which we will be, requiring some of the dependencies. So for that dependency, I'll come down here and I'll write HTTP. That is the one I need, and INTL. So INTL will be also needed over here. Yeah. Okay. So INTL is also needed over here. And except for that INTL, we even need a model bottom sheet, right? This is that also we need. Make sure to copy this exact same thing that I am going to write over here because some of you might get an error for this because this model bottom sheet is imported by both. Like material.dart also imports this model dot bottom sheet, and we will be also importing that file. So make sure to use exact this code like what I have written. This will prevent you guys from getting that error that I was facing in the previous part, like when I was working on this project or when I was creating this project then. So yeah, you guys won't get that error. So make sure you does that properly, right? Now, we even going to need something called, let's do one thing. First of all, we need over here in this homepage.dart, we are going to take a lot of, variables. So firstly, I'm going to write final, then text editing controller, and I'm going to write it as city controller because we are going to control the name of the city, right? So I'm going to write text editing controller like this. Then what I'm going to write final constants. Yeah, final constants should be represented by underscore constants. And yeah, this is the basic part. Then what we need an API key. So for that API key, you just head over here and log into this particular site, of which I have already created the profile. But I forgot what was that. Never mind. It's just sign up. You can sign up from here. Okay, so you just have to give your username and all sorts of things, and then you can log in like this. Maybe that is the login credentials. Yeah. So this is the API key, right? That everybody of you guys will be getting. Like, yeah, it's just for trial purposes, and its trial will be ended at 8 April 2023. But initially, it's a free API key, so yeah, it works. You just have to copy this API key, and then you have to go back and from here, just go to this. uh, like interactive API, and then just paste your API, not this one, that API key that I have, copy it out over here and like three. Okay, so now what you have to do here is you have to go on over here and just check whether your API is working or not. So I'll click on show response. So yeah, you can see it's getting me the response over here. City, London region, City of London, Greater country, United Kingdom. Then time, location, local time. What's the local time? Condition is sunny, right? And if I'll enter, suppose I'm in Delhi right now, just pretending I'm not in Delhi. I'm just like, if I wrote Delhi, right? So I don't know from where it's taking. Yeah, its data is not that accurate, but it's a free API. What you can expect. It's saying Delhi region, Ontario, country, Canada. Actually, it's not a Canada. Let's try this. New Delhi, no location found. Okay, no problem. Like I'm just checking whether my API key is working perfectly fine or not. So yeah, Mumbai and everything is showing temperature in degrees Celsius. It's 29 in Fahrenheit. It's 84.2. So yeah, it's giving us the response in a JSON format, and that we will be using inside our code to get the output, right? So I hope you understood what we are going to do here. Yeah, so let's just do one thing. Let's head it over to the code. And inside the code, we are going to create a code, some like static. And inside the static, I'm going to write string. And the string will be API key. Obviously, we are going to use an API. So API key equals to, inside this, I'm going to write my API key that I have over here. And I'll even like paste your own API. Okay, so it's like put your own API key over here, and then we are good to go. And what we can even set over here is I'm going to set our default location in this particular program. So I'm going to write string, and inside the string, I'm going to write location New York, not you New York. Actually, location will be Mumbai. Obviously, I'm Indian, right? Why will I put New York? So Mumbai will be the default location, and string of the photos that we are going to use, like weather icon equals to heavy cloud, heavy cloudy dot png. Like this is the basic code that has been there. Like where is the folder, assets folder I have to create. So let's just do one thing. I'll create an assets folder so that you can get to see assets, and inside the assets we are going to take these particular images. See, these are the images. So heavy cloudy, this will be the basic image, right? So default image will be this one. And now as we have got the images in the account, let's just do one thing. I'll write assets, and inside the asset I'm just going to write it like assets slash. Now, what this is going to do here is it's going to take all the files that are present in the folder, right? So we don't really need to add every single file in the code like one by one. We just can, do the changes, and it will be done by like that, right? Yeah. So after this, we have got the images as well. This is the default image, and the temperature also we have to set it out over here. So int our temperature will be 0, then int obviously in the application, what else you get? Temperature, humidity, then wind speed will be also zero, then in the cloud. So like in clouds will be also zero. Like usually we doesn't use it, but okay, whatever. We just needs usually most of the people just needs the temperature. What is the temperature? But okay, we are creating a little more advanced, so I'm just writing all the things. Now current date will be empty as we are going to fetch that data from the API that we are going to use, right? So this is that. Then I'm going to create list. Okay, so list of hourly weather forecast for like FORECST forecast. So list of hourly weather forecast, right? And daily weather forecast because we need two types of data, right? So hourly data and daily data. Because you can see it out in this, we are representing it like today. So today is hourly and forecast. So this is daily, like 27, 28, 29, like this. We are also, demonstrating over here in the settings. As of now, it does not have anything, but you can implement that later. This is also not working. So yeah, you can put on a lot of things in this, right? And there is one more string that I'm going to use here is, so in this string, I'm going to use current weather status. So current weather status will be an empty string, obviously. Then what I'm going to use here is I'm going to call out the API. So string to call the weather API. Now, if you will check it out over here, this is the calling API that we have to use to call the API. Like here, http api.weatherapi.com/current.json key. This key will be our own. Like you can see, this is my key that I am using over here, right? So I'll replace the code with my API key like that. And Q equals to Mumbai or whatever city that we are going to enter, right? Yeah. So let's just do one thing. I'll just copy it out, full copy, and inside this, let's do one thing. I'm going to create API call. So inside the API call, I'm going to create a string. Now inside the string, I'm going to search whether API. Okay, so search whether API will be like this. So .com.list key equals to, we are going to add over here plus plus symbol, and inside this plus symbol I'm going to even use the API key that we have taken over there. So yeah, it will look like this, right? And inside this, what I'm going to write is I'm going to write, instead of Mumbai, we are going to leave it as blank because, okay, so here also we will add one more thing, that is ampersand days equals to 7 because we will be needing it for 7 days. So yeah, ampersand days equals to 7. And like this, we are going to use the API so that you don't need to add on your API key every single where. You can just put it over here and it will be good to go throughout the whole data, right? Or throughout the whole program that we have created here so far, right? Now let's do one thing. This is the basic work done. Now let's just quickly come up with the building procedure that we are going to use. So firstly, inside this, I'm going to write size size equals to media query dot of context dot size. That means it's going to take the full size of the page that it's going to open on. Like if it's in a web, then full web, then if it's in a mobile, then full mobile, like this, right? Now, inside this, I'm going to write scaffold because it's going to return the scaffold over here, right? Now, inside the scaffold, I'm going to write resize to avoid bottom insets false. What is this? This is like when I am searching, right? This keyword pops out. This one. This will be possible. But if I'll remove this, then we will be getting some errors with the margin and padding, that padding is not done or margin is not proper or this and that. So that sort of error we will be getting, which we are not getting as of now. So we are good to go, right? So then I'm going to write background color equals to colors dot white. Yeah, so colors dot white will be the background color. Then body. So inside the body, I'm going to write container, and that container will be having a lot of things. So it's like width. So containers width will be size dot width, and height will be size dot height. That means full size and full width, right? This is what it's going to take. Then padding. So we even need to provide the padding to the container that we are creating, right? So I'm going to write const edge insets dot only inside the edge insets dot only. I'm going to write top. So from top, I'm going to give about 30. Then from left 10, and from right also 10. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And let's check whether till now we have any sort of errors or not. Yeah, it's going to take some time, I think so. Yeah, see, it's working. Blank page. Like, yeah, you can see the blank page. Why? Because green. Let's give it a green. Now you will be seeing the difference that yeah, our code is working perfectly fine, right? So as of now, let's keep it a green so that we will be getting to know that difference that we are going to implement. So color. Now color is the color of the inside container that we are going to create. So for that, we are going to use constant dot primary color dot with opacity will be less, right? About 0.2. Let's check. Yeah, see, little faded it got, right? But if I'll give the opacity like fully color changed. But yeah, I just need a little bit of shade over here. So yeah, you can see it has little faded out us. Then child, inside the child, I'm going to create a column because inside the column only I'm going to store my main files. So this is the column. Now we have to do one more thing for the column. That is cross-axis alignment should be center. So cross-axis alignment dot center. Now children, inside the children, I'm going to again create a container, and this container will be having some of the changes from the upper one. Like what changes inside this container, I'm going to give a padding of edge insets dot symmetric. Inside the symmetric, I'm going to write vertical. So for vertical, I'm going to give 10, and for horizontal also, I have to give 10. Okay. Now for after this, I hope everybody's able to see the code. Yeah, right. Okay. So now after this, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create height also is will over here. So for this container, height will be really less. So size dot height, then height will be 0.7. Okay. And decoration will be also a little curve kind. So decoration will be box decoration, and inside the box decoration, I'm going to write a gradient. Now let's give the gradient. So constant dot linear gradient dot blue, right? And I think so it should work. See, you are getting this gradient over here. If you can see, right? The gradient is ready. Now after this gradient, I have to even give the box shadow. So yeah, you can even give the border radius as well. Now it looks better. And now let's give the box shadow. So box shadow will be now inside this box shadow, I'm going to write exactly this box shadow color. Color will be the primary color that we have created, right? So constants, now constant dot primary color dot with opacity 0.6, and this is going to create a radius. So I have to create a spread radius of 5, blur radius of like this. Maybe it's not visible now, but if I'll add white over here, then it will be visible. Okay, so there was an error, so that was the problem, right? Yeah. Now if I'll see, if you will see it, it's like this sort of, you can see the gradient over here, and the changes and modifications you guys can do by yourself in the code over here, right? With this one, like the more you will do the changes, the more it will be, modified, and the more it will look different. So yeah, you can put on these changes by yourself. I'm not going to do that much. Now, inside this box radius, we have even provided the radius over here. Now, after this decoration is done for this particular column, we have to write the child, and inside this child, I'm going to create a column. Now, inside this column will be having main axis alignment dot space around. That means it's going to give the spaces around. Now, inside this children, I'm going to write a row. Okay, so this will be a row. And inside this row, I'm going to write main axis alignment. So main axis alignment dot space around, actually space between. This will give the equal spaces between the elements, and cross axis alignment should be center. Okay. Now inside this children, I'm going to write. Now inside this children, we are going to create another image dot assets. Okay, so image dot asset. Now inside this, I'm going to write asset assets slash menu dot png. Okay, and after this, I'm going to even add a comma. Then I'm going to write width will be 40 something. Let's give it a 35 and a 25. Okay, now this is the image. After this image, if you can see the code over here. So after this, we are again, this is the menu that we have created. Now after this, inside this particular column, we even need to create, inside this row, we even need to create one more kind of row, which will be having pin and, location and all. right? So let's do one thing. Inside this also, I'm going to create another row. You guys can see me. React Native versus Flutter, which one is better? So it's your personal choice, I will say. Flutter is, little new compared to the React Native. Industry is real familiar with the React Native as of now, but slowly, the industry is, changing, and many people are emerging Flutter as well. But it's totally up to your choice. If you are learning React, then obviously you guys will prefer React Native. But if you are not into React, then obviously many people chooses Flutter as their, main. Uh, Language to develop applications, right? So in this, now let's just do one thing quickly. I'll add up a row. Now inside this row, we are going to add on that location and things that we needed, right? So cross axis alignment dot center. So it's going to align everything in the center now. Children, inside the children, I'm going to write image dot assets. So image dot assets, inside the asset, what I'm going to write, I'm going to write asset slash pin dot png. Then after that, we have to define the width as well. So width will be about 20 something because we need that pin should be little small. Then we are going to create a sized box of width 3. That will be fine enough. Then after this, I'm going to create a text. Okay, that text will be having location, the location which we want to enter. It will be stored inside this, and I don't really need the font weight should be bold and size will be 16:5, right? Yeah. Now after this text, what else we have here in this application? Okay, an arrow button. Okay, so for that arrow button, we will be adding a button, icon button. Then on pressed, as of now, I am going to write it as a null value because we have not done anything in that. But now in the icon, what I'm going to write here is I am going to write, Mhm. Okay, so inside this icon, I am going to choose icon start close. So it's like, as of now, I'm going to write icons dot key arrow. Yeah, that will work. So it should be like icon dot says to format inside the icon. Okay, so let's do one thing. We'll add on an icon over here. What should icons dot right? Yeah. As of now, let's just keep it as an icon with which will be down forward, like moving downward like that. And later on in that, we will be changing it to something else or the something which we needed. So yeah, this is for this particular row, the children row that we have created, right? And see this row. Right now, inside this row, we even need to create one more thing. That will be a clip rect. I'll be using a clip rect. Inside the clip rect, I am going to write border radius, like R should be capital in this one. There are two clip recs, so please make sure you are choosing the correct one. So border radius dot circular, then 10 inside the circular. We are going to use 10, and inside the child, I'm going to implement the image that we will be using image.asset. Now inside that image.asset, we are going to write assets slash profile.png. Okay. And inside that, I'm going to give a height 35, 35. Okay. And what else is there? Expected to find a closing arrow. Okay. Why? I don't know. I'm trying. Yeah. After this row is done, this particular huge row, we are even going to add a sized box for the element so that we can, represent the height of about 160 something. And for that height, we are going to give the image as image dot asset, and inside that I'm going to write asset slash plus weather icon that I have created over there, right? So yeah, that one. Okay, so yeah, this will not. If that works, then yeah, no problems at all. Now let's just do one thing. I'll click on run, start debugging, and let's see till now whatever we have done, is it working fine or not, or it's going to give us some sort of errors or not. Because I hope that till now whatever I've done is perfect. There is no such error in the code. Yeah. So you can see as of now the layout is kind of looking right. We don't have any sort of gestures and all in this because we have not implemented any such. But yeah, for the beginning, it looks nice. Yeah, let's leave it like that as of now. And yeah, we have to cover up a little long journey to make it to look like this from that particular thing that we have created so far, right? So I hope you understood each and everything, whatever I have done till now, right? If you need the code, it's available right here in my GitHub, right? And yeah, so this was pretty much it for this video. I hope each and everything that we have done so far is cleared with you all. And in the next part of the video, that is tomorrow at 6 p.m., we are going to cover up the next part and we are going to finish up the majority of the code, right? So this was pretty much it for this video. If you liked the video, then do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your friends who wants to create such an amazing app using Flutter. And I will see you in the next one. Till then, see ya, have a great day and bye bye.